Coming up, an AT40 Extra, a song that features the sound of a man blowing bubbles through a straw in a bucket of water. It's one of the most popular sing-along songs the Beatles ever recorded.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Now we're up to our AT40 Extra. It's one of the catchiest songs the Beatles ever recorded. A big number 2 hit whose underwater sound effects were created by John Lennon blowing bubbles. It's a song that first appeared on their album Revolver. A song full of crazy sounds like George Harrison swirling water around in a pan, the sounds of an actual cocktail party, a brass band, various engine room noises, and a chorus consisting of everyone who happened to be at the recording studio, including producer George Martin and George Harrison's first wife, Patty. As an American Top 40 Extra, here are the Beatles with that song. Here's Yellow Submarine.
In the town submarine.
That was a number 2 hit for the Beatles back in 1966. Yellow Submarine, an AT40 Extra.
The hits from coast to coast, coast to coast.
Well, now let's take care of that question with a strange answer. A listener in Jackson, Mississippi, Matthew Bryant, wants to know who's had the most number 1 albums in a row.
1, 2, 3.
Well, our AT40 researchers found the answer to that in pretty short order. But they didn't stop there. You see, they were curious about the circumstances that ended the record-setting streak of consecutive number 1 albums. And what they found was a bit of a surprise. Here's the picture. The act that holds the record for most number 1 albums in a row is the Beatles. Now that shouldn't surprise anyone. The albums they released from mid-1965 through 1968, 8 albums, all hit number 1, one after another. Now the 8th of those was untitled, but came to be known as the White Album because of its all-white cover. It hit number 1 the last week of December 68 and stayed at number 1 for 8 more weeks through January and February of 69. And it was during that time that the Beatles soundtrack album from their animated movie, Yellow Submarine, was released. It shot up the LP chart, went to number 6, then to number 3, then to number 2. And that's as high as it could get. The Beatles' White Album hadn't yet moved out of the number 1 spot. And that's what ended the Beatles' record-setting streak of 8 number 1 albums in a row. Their own popularity. So there's your answer, Matthew, with an ironic twist. Thanks for writing. And now, on with the countdown.
The hits from coast to coast.